Hey there guys, welcome. You're at the Thrifty Journal shop. My name is Amber. If you are new here, welcome. All right, today I'm going to show you a really cool way to make some handmade paper. I call it handmade because I made it. So I recently made this paper bag journal. I've talked about this journal quite often. I will link the video down below. I absolutely love this art journal. And what I did to make the cover was I sprayed it with food coloring, and then all the pages inside are using food coloring or coffee. And I just put it in a spray bottle and sprayed all of these bright, beautiful colored pages. So I made those papers, and then I was pulling apart some napkins and doing some decoupage. So I had a bunch of these, the ply from the napkin, and I didn't want to throw it away. So I took a bunch of these and I turned it into these fun papers. This one, I used some of the dress pattern tissue. So you could use tissue paper, you could use dress patterns. So here's some of the ones I made, and I'm going to show you how I did it and what you need to make it with. So yeah, they're just all a bunch of different fun papers. I love how they turned out. They're kind of crispy and all unique. And the texture is really kind of cool. So just a bunch of different ones. So pretty. All different colors, and this was just using food coloring and just like the 4 basic colors that you get in the packet: red, blue, yellow, and green. I'm gonna this spring, when the Easter egg kits come out, I'm gonna buy some of those. I'm gonna make some more and I'll share that with you. All right, so I thought these papers would just be great in an art journal, any junk journal, your glue book, whatever. I have glued on them, and the food coloring doesn't run. So yeah, I just love the brightness of them, and I thought, how can I make my own paper? So first thing, I'm going to show you how I got this look. So you're just going to need some napkin, or like I said, you could probably use like white tissue paper or dress pattern paper. You don't even need white tissue paper. You could probably use colored paper, and you could spray it with coffee, or you could use different colors. You could just experiment. I'm just going to use my 4 colors. I've got red, green, yellow, and blue. Okay. And so what I did was I just took the napkin and I scrunched it up like this. I just scrunched them all up. Now this is a little bit messy, so you're probably going to want maybe like one of your pans from the kitchen, like a cookie sheet pan. I am just going to use this piece of wallpaper. I'm just going to show you 4 of them for demonstration purposes, and then I will show you the dry ones, and I'll show you how to actually make the paper here. So I just took some colors and I just sprayed them. They dry pretty quick. I let them dry scrunched up like this. For some of them, I sprayed maybe 1 or 2 colors like this. And then I let it dry a little bit, and then I came back and I sprayed some more. You really get a rainbow effect. And then you just let them dry like that. It's as easy as that. And you can just scrunch them all up, put them on a cookie sheet or on some kind of paper, and let them dry. So I'm going to let these dry. So this is what the napkins look like after they've been scrunched up and sprayed. They'll look like this. depending on what colors you used and all of that. Okay, so you're gonna have just some really beautiful markings. Okay, and so now we're going to turn this into paper. So I got this idea from a YouTube channel. I will link it down below. It's called Chasing Paper. And she actually used a method with stencils and plastic bags. So you should definitely go check out the video because her paper looks really cool. I was just looking for a way that I could turn this into paper without using Mod Podge and glue and all of that. So the key to this is freezer paper. So you're going to need freezer paper. It has to be freezer paper because it's got to be plastic coated. That's what's going to get this tissue paper or napkin, the ply napkin, to stick to the paper is the plastic side. Okay, so you're going to need an iron. So plug your iron in. You want to make sure that your iron is not on the steam setting. You don't want any water. I use a towel. So you're going to want a towel down. I've got some freezer paper already cut down. And you'll see this is the plastic side, and then that's the paper side. So you want the paper side down and the plastic side up because this is going to be the side that you want to stick. So you're probably going to want to set something on this paper because it is rolled up a little bit. I'm going to see if I can clip it to my towel here to keep it down. Okay, so now you're going to take your the ply of your napkin. And sometimes I'll use a second sheet and I will line it up next to the other one. You don't want to overlap it because it won't, both of them won't stick to the paper, but it usually sticks if I butt it up against the next one. Okay, now you're going to need either parchment paper or wax paper. And you're going to want to place the wax paper on top of your tissue paper. And now you're just going to press with your iron. And it should adhere to the plastic underneath. You can pull it up to check on it. I will actually run it over without the wax paper too, especially with the edges. You just want to sort of move your iron along quickly. Now, right here, you can see part of the plastic. I didn't butt these up as close as I'd like to, but that's okay. I'm going to show you what I do after this. So you're just going to want to make sure that your sides are all pressed really well. Be very careful with your iron. Just want to make sure to go back and forth. And you really sort of want to avoid going over the plastic with your iron because it will stick. The main thing is your corners and your edges. So I find that the wax paper at first is a good idea to have down, but then I will go over it just right on the tissue paper or the napkin. I keep calling it tissue paper. And you might want to just hold it a little bit. Okay. I'm going to set this one aside. We'll do another one and then we'll trim it off. And then I'll show you what I do to the back, because the back is the paper side and the back is pretty white and plain. All right, I have some smaller pieces that I cut down. Let's see. I'm actually going to trim this down a little bit. What I did when I made the last batch was I cut the freezer paper and then I flipped it upside down and I put a book on top of it so it didn't curl like this. So you're going to want your sticky side up, the paper side down. Now you're going to take your wax paper and put it over and just get it so it sticks down, it lays flat. The iron definitely helps it lay down. You know, sometimes the smell, if you want to vent a window, right now it is -8 outside. It's a little cold for that, but I am just doing a few sheets with you here today. But if you are going to be doing lots of papers, you might just want to crack a window, or you know, this is a great project for the spring too. If you the nice day, you could you know, spray your papers and let them dry outside. So now I took the wax paper off and I am just making sure to press really good on these corners. Isn't that so pretty? And then you have this pretty paper. And just make sure, like I said, not to really go over your iron on the plastic, because your iron will stick. You can be very precise and measure this freezer paper out so everything lines up. When I trim this, I do save these little pieces of scrap, some of them, and I'll reuse them for like a collage. Or like I showed in my last video, I took some of these strips and took them to my sewing machine and made like little paper ruffles. All right, I'm going to unplug my iron and move it out of the way here. So after you've ironed everything down, I just trim off the excess. It doesn't have to be perfect right now, but that's what I do. And then if I need to, if it seems like it's peeling up a little bit more, I'll go back over with my iron and just kind of rub around the edges again. Let's trim down this paper. I will just piece some of these together, or I'll save this for a different project. We're just trimming this down. Okay, so that's what it looks like. And like I said, if it's rolling up, you can definitely set a book on top of it. All right, so we have this really pretty side, but then this side is white. So what I did, okay, so here's some of my completed ones. So that was the side that I ironed down. And then this is the paper side. So what I ended up doing was I just went ahead and sprayed more food coloring on this side. And then it did bleed through on the other side, which is fine with me. I just wanted both sides to be colorful. So if I decide to add these to a journal, they're just going to be so unique. Or you could use these to do collage. I mean, aren't they just really pretty? Just have this variety. I really liked how this dress pattern turned out. I don't think my camera is doing it justice, but yeah, you've got colors in there with the tan, and then I just sprayed the back. This one I sort of pieced together with my iron. So you have all different kinds. You've got part of this tissue, or you've got part of this napkin, and then some of the dress pattern. So just all different varieties. There's more of the dress pattern. I just like them. They're nice and grungy and colorful and just all unique. If you saw my other video how I created the paper, it was the same sort of technique. I just took my spray bottles and I sprayed them. This is when you can kind of play around and get like the dribble effect that I call it. Sometimes with this, I might just do like maybe 2 colors, maybe 3, and let them dry a little bit. And then I will come back and maybe add a 3rd or 4th color. And that's just because if you add too much, all of them together, then, you know, it kind of turns brownish or a funky color. And you can let it dry like that pooled look. You'll get that, you know, pooled center look, which is kind of cool. All right, I'm gonna add a little bit of blue to this one and a little bit of green to that one. And I'm just gonna set these off and let them dry. So it does get pretty messy. I have a sheet down and then I lay a towel and I lay the papers on top of there. I've laid them on paper stacks before too. So this is just what some of that, the ply is looking like. It's still pretty damp, but see how pretty it's gonna be? And then you could always, when it dries, you could always spray it again and scrunch it back up. But yeah, it looks very light and subtle. It reminds me of like tie-dyed and Easter eggs. So I'm gonna let those dry. Here's just like a few more of them. This napkin had some lettering on it. So I don't know if you can see some of those letters in there. I do have some more in here that actually I could spray the back. So here's a piece that I pieced together. This was 2 separate sheets and I just butted them up together. Here's another sheet. And I think I'm going to spray the backs of these while I have all my stuff out and I will let them dry. So I will be creating some journals with these papers. I am working on some art journals and some fabric journals. I've got some ideas. I'm really into drawing lately. And so I do want to make some whimsical covers. So I'm playing around with that, but I do have some unfinished projects that I'm trying to finish. I'm going to have a couple fabric journals. I'll probably make a few more because I think the 2 that I showed are spoken for. I'll probably make 1 or 2 more of those. And then I've got some binder journals that I need to finish. So probably sometime in February, I will get some more journals out. I still have some in my shop. In fact, all my journals are 25% off right now. I am still thinking about journal ideas. I might be going in a little bit different of a direction with my journals. I have really just been enjoying creating for myself and sharing those ideas with you guys. So I hope you enjoyed this and I hope this inspired you to make some beautiful handmade colorful paper. All right, guys, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you soon.